controlling behaviors that led up to Skylar's July 6th, 2012 disappearance. We believe the criminal case involving the Manson family also hinted at the motive behind Skylar's murder, so her story captivated us from the outset. Later, Rachel Shoaf's confession and Shelia Eddy's chilling courtroom behavior echoed themes seen in the Manson case. We realize how difficult it is for teens to understand that parents really do know best when we warn them an acquaintance is bad news or require them to follow rules. We're not being mean when we insist on consequences for wrong conduct. Most rules have reasons behind them. The problem is teens don't like to listen to their parents, whom they often consider hopelessly uncool. This problem is compounded by something that only happens to adolescent girls. In Reviving Ophelia, author Mary Pfeiffer, Ph.D., said, "Our culture sexualizes young girls and overemphasizes their looks, while pressuring teenage girls to assume a false persona to please their parents. Then, when they are much in need of parental support, these adolescents become secretive and turn to their peers. They are self-absorbed and preoccupied with peer approval," Pfeiffer said. That's what happened to my daughters. Shelia was 14 when she began hanging with the wrong crowd. In fact, Shelia Eddy reminds me of Shelia's friend Debbie. She came from a troubled background, so I tried to keep Shelia away from her. But Shelia was like Skylar, fearless and willful, and determined to be with the friend she admired. As a news reporter, I worked with local law enforcement, so the Preston County Sheriff's Department quickly dispatched an officer to search for my daughter when she ran away one night. He found her at Debbie's house within hours. After he cautioned Shelia about the dangers of running away, I took her home. When my second daughter, Trista, ran away 4 years later, we were living near Oakland, California. As soon as I realized she was gone, I called the police, but California's Amber Alert program was being tested on a regional basis in 1999 and didn't go statewide until 2000. Even if it had been in place, the system wouldn't have been activated in Trista's behalf. She simply didn't meet the criteria. So I did the same thing the Neeses did. I designed a missing poster, planning to make hundreds of copies and personally recruit every friend I could find to help me cover an area that held almost 500,000 people. Fortunately, a beat officer recognized Trista and brought her home late that same night. For a few hours, I understood what it felt like to be Mary and Dave Neese, to not know where your daughter is or if you will ever see her again. In the case of Shelia and Trista, my worry and fear lasted less than 1 day. I lived through 2 brief episodes, nothing nearly as extreme as the Neeses' prolonged anguish, and my heart aches for any other parent who feels that kind of terror. Not long after Skylar disappeared, Trista, then 31, and I were walking on the rail trail that circles Morgantown. We were in Sabreton when I wondered aloud if we would see Skylar. Rumors ran amok, saying the 16-year-old had been seen there. Was she really another runaway, hiding out with her boyfriend? Thinking of the gruesome cases I've covered, I hoped that was all that had happened, and prayed Skylar wasn't somewhere being tormented by a psycho. When Jeff and I learned Skylar's close friends had planned and then brutally murdered her, we were as stunned as everyone else. As we began investigating, we concluded that the 3-way relationship between Skylar, Shelia, and Rachel was toxic. It wasn't unlike many romantic relationships or marriages where everyone else sees the red flags except the victim. Neither Skylar nor Rachel recognized the danger that came from being close friends with Shelia. During interviews, many teens said either they didn't have a good feeling about Shelia or their parents didn't want them involved with her. Those same teens tried to convince Skylar and Rachel that Shelia wasn't a good person. After noticing changes in their daughter's behavior, even Mary and Dave repeatedly tried to pry Skylar away from Shelia. Skylar wouldn't listen. At the same time, Shelia, Rachel, and Skylar's relationship was already deteriorating. The trio turned mean, and their online fights later became fodder for the public, who would follow them.